She earns $220,000 a year. New car, nice apartment, designer, everything. And she's just $300 away from overdraft. Welcome to the high-income poverty trap, where the paycheck is huge, the job title is impressive, and the bank account tells a completely different story. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're gonna see exactly how this trap gets built, why even smart, hardworking people fall into it, and the specific steps to get out of it for good. Here is the confusion most people have, and it is an honest one. They think income and wealth are the same thing. They are not even close. Income is what comes in every month. Wealth is what is still standing after everything else has taken its cut. You can have a massive income and almost no wealth. You can also have a modest income and real wealth. The number on the paycheck tells you almost nothing about the number in the bank account. And this is not a rare, unlucky exception. A large share of six-figure earners are functionally living paycheck to paycheck, not because the income is too low to live on, because of where every single dollar of it is already spoken for, before it even arrives. So rich stops being a financial reality and starts being a costume, something worn in public, while the actual numbers behind the scenes look nothing like it. Let's make this real with two quick profiles. First, the executive, mid-30s, 10 years into a corporate career, finally crossed $200,000 a year. From the outside, she has made it. Corner office, conference invites, the kind of title people respect at dinner parties. Her actual checking account balance at the end of most months? A few $100s, sometimes less. The income climbed every year. The cushion never did. Second profile, a couple, both working, combined income north of $300,000. On paper, that is a household most people would assume is completely secure. In reality, if either one of them lost their job tomorrow, they do have less than 2 months of expenses covered. Two incomes did not buy them security. It bought them a bigger house, 2 newer cars, and twice the monthly obligations. Different careers, different households, completely different income levels. And they landed in the exact same place. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns have causes. Let's build the full picture line by line. A mortgage or rent that scales with the income because I can't afford it on paper. A car payment on something new because the job seems to expect you to look the part. Private school, or the gym, or the club membership, or all three at once. Then add taxes, which take a much bigger bite the higher the income climbs. Add the leftover debt from school. Add the vacations that quietly prove to everyone, including yourself, that all of it was worth it. By the time every one of those categories takes its piece, what is left for savings and investing is whatever scraps remain. And for a lot of high earners, that slice is close to zero. Some months it is negative. Notice what is missing from that list. Irresponsibility. None of these are reckless purchases on their own. That is exactly what makes this trap so easy to fall into without noticing. This is the part nobody warns you about. Lifestyle creep. Every time income goes up, spending quietly rises to match it, and often it rises even faster. A raise doesn't feel like extra breathing room for long. It feels like permission to upgrade, New apartment, newer car, better wardrobe, a nicer neighborhood. None of it looks reckless in isolation, but stacked together, year after year, it quietly absorbs every dollar of every raise that was supposed to build security instead. Track this over 5 or 10 years, and the pattern becomes obvious. The income line climbs, the spending line climbs right alongside it, almost step for step. And the gap between them, the part that should be turning into wealth, never actually widens. That is the cruelest part of lifestyle creep. It doesn't just stall your progress once. It resets the trap every single time you get a raise, unless you interrupt the pattern on purpose. A lot of what looks like wealth is actually financed. Credit card balances carried month to month instead of paid off. Buy now, pay later plans stacked on top of purchases that should have stayed small. A car loan quietly stretched out to 6 or 7 years just to keep the monthly payment low enough to seem manageable. 3 categories tend to do the most damage here. Credit card debt, because the interest compounds against you every single month it's carried. Student loan debt, because it often arrives before the income does and never gets fully addressed once the income shows up. And auto debt, because cars are one of the easiest places to quietly overspend without it ever feeling like a big decision. On paper, the income says success. On an actual balance sheet, assets minus debts, the math can say something very different. And the balance sheet is the only one of the two that's telling the truth. Here's a piece that rarely gets talked about. As income rises, a bigger share of every additional dollar goes straight to taxes. That's not a conspiracy. It's just how progressive tax brackets work. But a lot of high earners budget their lifestyle off the gross number on the offer letter, not the number that actually lands in the account after taxes. Mentally spending the big headline number instead of the smaller real number is one of the quietest ways this trap gets built in the very first year of a new salary. Part of this trap is psychological, not mathematical. In high-income environments, spending becomes a kind of uniform. The car, the clothes, the neighborhood, the vacations, they are treated as proof that you belong in the room. So a lot of high earners are not chasing luxury for pleasure. They are spending to keep up appearances among people who all look like they have it together too. Add social media into the mix, and the pressure compounds. Everyone's highlight reel is on display. Nobody's bank statement is. It becomes incredibly easy to compare your real financial life to everyone else's curated one, and lose badly every time. Here is the uncomfortable truth underneath all of it. A lot of the people you are trying to keep up with are in the exact same trap you are. The performance is mutual. Almost nobody's actual numbers match the image. This is where the trap gets its real teeth. Once the lifestyle, the debt, and the fixed costs are all built around the big income, leaving that income stops being optional. Even a job that is draining, even a boss that is miserable, even a role with no future, none of it can be walked away from because the entire lifestyle would collapse without that exact paycheck. That's the real cost of this pattern. It is not just an empty savings account. It is the loss of the one thing a high income is supposed to buy in the first place: freedom and choices. Here is the part that actually matters. The way out of this trap is not earning more money. It is changing what happens the moment the money arrives. 5 specific shifts make the biggest difference. Before Lifestyle gets a single dollar, savings and investing get their share automatically. Even 10 or 15% moved out of sight the moment the paycheck lands changes everything over time because it removes the decision entirely. When a raise comes in, let the lifestyle stay exactly where it is for a while. Bank the difference instead of spending it. The income is allowed to grow. The spending does not have to grow with it. Not all debt deserves the same urgency. The high-interest balances, credit cards especially, should get aggressive, focused payoff before anything else, because that interest is actively working against every other goal. Go through the budget honestly and separate what's spent to impress other people from what genuinely improves your own life. Cutting the first category rarely feels like a loss once you actually see what it is been quietly costing. Plan a lifestyle around the actual amount that lands in the account after taxes and after automatic savings, never the impressive number printed at the top of an offer letter. A big income is a tool. It was never security by itself. The people who actually build lasting wealth are not always the highest earners in the room. They are the ones who decided the income was not going to run their life for them. If this hit home, you almost certainly know someone living it right now. Send it to them. And if you want the exact system for getting a high income finally working for you instead of against you, subscribe. That is exactly what this channel is built for.